The hell is that all about? Hey guys, welcome back to how nice of them to do that. Wow. Am I back or what? Are we good? The internet just decided to fuck off on me. Yes. Okay, I'm back. So, Westbrook, my final thoughts are track is dope. Figure out the top end shit and get better vocals in. The end. It's a sick track, man. Good job. All right, moving on. Ain't Like You Multi-Fox remix. Let's have a listen.
All of the time we had, you wasted on playing. Nothing to see now, the game ain't the same. Every card I drew was open, I showed them, but you couldn't keep it straight. Please don't pretend you're still hoping that you and I'll make it through. Please don't defend why you chose me, 'cause we both know it ain't like
Okay, the vocals, biggest problem in this track so far. The vocals, they're very, like, they sound like they're being sung in the bathroom next door. They're kind of dull, they're lacking top end. I feel like there's no dry vocal. It's just like a quick reverb or something, you know? Like, it doesn't sound like the dry vocals. Now, I don't know what the vocals sounded like to begin with. I'm not sure if this is something that you have done or if it was baked into the original stem. But the biggest problem with this so far is that the vocals just kind of sound like somebody singing in the shower next door to you with the window open. Now, normally multi-fox, I have an issue with the musical side of things. Sometimes it's in the wrong key or there's notes that don't quite fit in, but that's not the case with this track. You've done a good job with the musical side of things with this. I think my biggest issue with the production side of it is that your kick is the main source of bass. Like, the bass note is basically, you could see it, is basically this kick drum, which is playing the same note every time, bum, 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 and the chords are moving around. So what I would maybe try to do is shorten up the kick somehow, use a different kick, shorten the kick that you're using there, and have the bass have a more important role in supplying the bottom end. If we just low pass this track and listen to it, all we'll really hear is the kick drum. So the problem with that is because your kick drum is playing the same note the whole time and it is delivering most of the bass in the song, the bass isn't moving. It's just playing the same note the whole time. So I would lean more towards having the sub loud and provide most of the bass, and have the kick provide the kick or the punch. But yeah, basically the vocals need to be drier, brighter, more upfront in the mix, less reverbed out, and then try to play around with a shorter kick and a longer bass to fill in the spots between the kicks. Okay, cool. Moving on. All right. ZD, Z Nut. Epic Sus Trash Maggot Dog. Great expectations here. So this is cool. I like the glitch hop vibes. I feel like the snare is like muted or like doesn't have a whole lot of. It almost sounds low passed or something. Like if I do that, all of a sudden the snare sounds a bit better, but obviously everything else sounds worse because it's way too bright. I think your snare is just missing that top end for whatever reason. Let's turn that EQ off. What do you mean screwed, Bleed? Please elaborate. Yeah, I think this just needs like a brighter snare, and you would be well on your way. It's mostly because glitch hop, I find the snare plays such an important role in this genre, but the snare itself just doesn't have that like brightness or the presence. It kind of sounds like I have water in my ears just when the snare hits. Is that like a fake bass guitar? Oop. Yeah, I think this is cool, man. I think just getting a bit more brightness in the snare is going to make a really big difference. That's my main gripe with this track, is that the snare is just a little too dull. Okay, cool. Moving on. We got Wrench Vibe. Okay, so you had me interested for the most part. I kind of lost interest when it got to the for a few reasons, but let's go back to the start here. I like what this is, and it's almost moving around, moving on at a like an acceptable rate. But I do feel like you got one section too many of intro. You could kind of see like I would almost want this. If I do this, and do that, and I do this, I would almost want this intro to kind of go like that. You know what I mean? Like give us a bit of a hint that things are speeding up. Or you could even maybe just like cut out this section and kind of move this over. But at any rate, I liked everything that was happening until it got to the drop section. So you could see visually the issues here, some of them anyway. This is your clap. It's much louder than the rest of the track, and it's restricting how loud everything else can be because it's just so loud. Hear how when I go back and forth between bypassing this limiter and turning it on, if you listen specifically to the clap sound, you'll notice that it doesn't get any quieter or louder or anything. It stays the same, but the rest of the track is like massively louder. So go do that in the mix, and then that way you can hit the master harder. Harder. That's a new one. Harder. Now, the next thing that I wanted to mention is the sound design. Everything's cool except that kind of like super saw serum thing. That's just a little like the detuned super saw thing. It just doesn't really do a whole lot for me. It just kind of sounds like detuned sawtooths. Even this, the hi-hat right here is like considerably louder than the kick. So I feel like you could get this a lot more powerful, and maybe you're struggling to get it powerful. I think the biggest reason is just the volume of some of these elements, like the clap and the hat, are so much louder than everything else. You're having a real hard time in the mastering stage or in the last stage of getting everything loud because you got this these huge peaks that are really hard to deal with. Typically the kick drum is like the biggest element in a song, but in this case, it's almost one of the smallest. Oh God, okay, back it up. Melodically and everything, I think it's good. I don't have any complaints there. It's mostly just a mix thing. This is cool. There's a lot of cool stuff happening. I think just sometimes it's helpful to render your track out and look at it visually. If you looked at this visually, you could clearly see the clap is too loud. Let's listen to the last bit. I think this lead sound is a bit loud. Yeah, like the pluck thing's a bit too loud. It really is the mix. I would say the weakest thing in this track is the mixing, and the strongest thing is the melody. So, yeah, maybe just take a look at what you got going on and see if you can either turn the clap down or maybe compress it. So if we look at this individual clap hit, you could even just like lop off in the kick channel. You could just lop off this little bit and you won't even really hear a difference. I think it does have to be turned down as well, but you could compress or even use a wave shaper. Just get rid of some of these clips, because if you did, or the clicks, if you got rid of some of that, now you can see this is the volume of the kick. This would be the new volume of the clap. This is kick. All of a sudden, now it's a lot easier to get this much more headroom out of the track without having these big, massive dips from the claps, which are too loud. Okay, cool. Thank you for sending. Next up, we got verbatim. Looking at the meter and adjusting the loudness works, question mark. I mean, the meter, it depends on what the meter is showing you. What I typically will do is I will watch the master and I'll bring this threshold down, down, down until I see something really smacking it hard. And then I'll investigate what is smacking it really hard. You know, could I maybe turn that down, or maybe could I compress that or wave shape the tops of them off so that they're not quite as peaky for that, you know, tiny little click. That way your master bus, you could maybe bloop, do this now. You know what I mean? It's if we go back real quick to your track and we look at the master here. See, like, if I set this here, the only time the master does anything is when the claps hit. So you got to imagine, hey, if I just turn the claps down, all of a sudden, I've got this threshold, and I'm not getting any gain reduction. So that means I can bring this down more. Now you can see this little tiny click. In fact, let me do this. So if we go here, so this is your kick, this is your clap, right? So I'm not saying that you need to get this so that everything is hitting the master at the same volume or anything like that, but that just tells you that these claps are really limiting how low you could bring this master limiter, and as an effect, it limits how loud the track can be without getting weird compression sounds from, like, you know what I mean? Okay, cool. Let's move on. That's what I got for that one. All right, we got verbatim. This one's called No Name. This is only the first half of a track, Whip. All right, let's have a listen. Okay, my first question is, why are some of these clicks, and you can hear it if you listen carefully, so like the track itself is really cool, but the way it's been mastered, or the way it's been mixed and mastered, leaves a lot of power on the table, you know? Like if let's my guess is that it has to do with maybe your mastering. I don't know what's in your master bus, but my thinking is maybe, here's what I'm thinking. It's not mastered at all. Oh, interesting. Are there any buses or anything? Because what I'm thinking is there's some compression this is the gain reduction, and then it goes like right up to no gain reduction, and then it comes down again. And that's kind of what I was thinking was happening. But if it's not mastered at all, then... Yeah, sometimes I do that too. You drop two, if you're in FL, you drop two samples on top of each other. It's sneaky. I mean, the biggest thing with this is just that it's not mastered. If I slap just the limiter on it. I would maybe also bring your kick down a bit and bring the bass up a bit, because right now it's very dum 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 instead of you know, like kick, and then the bass doesn't quite feel like it's coming up to the high enough level. But it's cool. I would investigate these weird clicky things because they're gonna eventually lead you to not be able to master it as loud as you want. Yeah, look into that, and then like keep going with it. It sounds like first half of the track. It sounds like the first half of a track. All right, cool. Thanks for setting. That was cool. All right, now we got Two Steps from Hell. Wow, that is fucking aggressive. Soul Grinder cinematic cover by Adexi. Let me turn off this crazy master thing here. What are you saying? What about the last seconds? Okay, let me check that out. The last seconds. I don't know what you're looking for from me for that. Oh, like the halftime thing? Yeah, I think it's an interesting switch up. I think that you're kind of relying pretty heavily on that one bass sound, you know? It's it kind of feels Raham, I like Won't Beat Around the Bus. I'm gonna start saying that instead. Anyway, yeah, I think you have a good basis here, but it doesn't sound complete in terms of like the elements that are there, especially when you go to this halftime part, and it just kind of sounds like you literally took. I know you didn't, but it kind of just sounds like you took what was going on here and just like switched it to halftime. So it doesn't really add a lot of value at that section, but I would keep going with it. I would investigate those sections. I would, maybe it needs a melody. Maybe there's a melody or something there. Nick, the type of guy to beat around the bus. Anyway, okay, those are my thoughts. Cool. Let's get back to Adexi. Here we go. Let's have a listen. Sick. Okay. My only thought is that some of the fake instruments sound too fake. Musically, very strong. It got me feeling Braveheartish. Almost, it kind of has a similar vibe to the 28 Days Later soundtrack, but also has like that kind of epic cinematic shit. It's maybe a little light in the top end. I felt like it could have been a bit brighter overall. So let's just have a listen. Yeah, I think overall it needs a little bit of top end added. But the biggest thing that's holding it back is the kind of the fake instruments. So if you could either replace those with real instruments or maybe lean more into using like synths or something instead of, I think it's mostly like the guitar thing, or there's just something that gives it kind of like an Age of Empires 2 vibe, and it's these breakdown sections. There's just something in there that's maybe multiple instruments that are like fake instruments. They kind of sound like sound font instruments, but in terms of mix and master, just needs a little bit of brightness. The musicality part of it is dope. Wouldn't change anything there. Maybe just try to either find somebody that plays guitar or lean a bit more into not being a real guitar. Okay, cool. Those are my thoughts. We got Shenanigans and Tomfoolery Demo 2. How do you think was my intro too long? Okay. It might have been a little too long, but at least you had some like atmosphere stuff and like some background music and Foley shit to like keep us going. So that would be that. Yeah, I don't think the intro was, it didn't really strike me as being too long. What's up, my 6K? My sick. I don't know how to say your name, but what's up? I see you would like me to listen to a demo. It has to be a downloadable demo that you upload to my Discord server, which you can see right here. And we're all filled up for this week, so you'll have to submit for next week. But I will listen to it, and I'll give you my thoughts. Okay, let's keep going. Shenanigans and Tomfoolery. I mean, if you're going for a silly goose time, you have accomplished it. I don't really know what to say besides that was a silly goose good time, and it sounds like it would be great for like a mobile 8-bit looking game soundtrack. I don't really have any feedback because it is what it is. It's a funny shenanigan tomfoolery song. It makes me want to throw my shoulders into it, you know? I don't know. That's all I got, man. Sorry if you were looking for more than that. I think it's fun, and it is what it is. Okay, cool. 720. Let's listen to 720 Japan. Here we go.
Got a lot of fucking bands in it. They support them hoes and took them to Japan, didn't it? I done pulled it out the line and got the lamb, didn't it? I get in that pussy, I'ma stand in it. I get money, that's just what I like. She so freaky, she gon' ride it like a bike. Products in Japan, damn twice. I get money, that's just what I like.
So that was cool. Okay, this from here over is sick. From here, I don't know. It sounds like you're just not done. It's not enough to keep my attention. I was like, if I wasn't listening to it for the stream, I probably would have skipped it. But then when it gets to this part, yeah, this part's sick, but like I straight up would have skipped this song way before I got to that section. So I think you need to somehow get to this quicker and more effectively, or hint towards it, or make these sections cooler. This section, the drop section, is fucking dope. Everything up to it, not dope. So make the other not dope parts dope, and then the dope will be the dope, and then the dope will lead into the dope. Okay, those are my thoughts. Thank you for sending. All right, we got Raptures. Let You Down remix, hopefully official. Here we go.
Am I the reason I've been stuck here for too long? No, it's another season. Wish there was a
Whoops, my bad. Fuck. Ah! Okay, this is super cool as always, not surprised, but this is my thoughts. These are my thoughts. Wait a moment. Please wait a moment. I'm going to sneeze. Wait, no, I think it decided to go back inside of my body. Cool. I love when that happens. Anyway, okay, so right here we're maxing out fucking cool factor 9000, right? We're super sharp. We got lots of plucky, transienty sharp things, right? Everything up to it is just so subdued. And then same thing here, right? It's almost like you're going from like 0 to 100 when you hit the drop, if that makes sense. I would try to find some cool elements from the drop itself and sneak them in to the intro leading up. So it's maybe a bit more of this kind of shape, you know, or maybe it kind of, and it hovers here and you know, because to me, the drops are so cool. And then the sections between the drops, they just kind of feel like they exist because they have to. So what I would do is I would try to get the energy kind of going a little bit more like this, you know, and the way to do that is maybe to grab the bum 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 bum, whatever that sound is, that synth, maybe bring it over here, tease it a little bit, throw in little like, hey, like foreshadowing, you know, like let us know that shit's gonna fucking hit the fan here any second now. You know, to me, it just kind of sounds like everything leading up to the drop is like super dark, not much transient, not much drums, not much percussion. It's almost too subdued until we get to the drop, and then it goes through the roof. So that's my only real thought. Besides that, it's sick. Like, if I would be willing to bet that if Bitbird or whoever you said you submitted it to, is that who you said? I can't remember. I would say if they Bitbird, yes, okay. I'm thinking if I were Bitbird, I'd be like coming to you and being like, hey, drop is sick, don't fucking touch it. Now let's get everything else closer to that level of insanity or closer to that quality. And I think all you have to do is bring some of these cool elements and tease them leading up to it. Those are my only thoughts. Besides that, it's dope. It sounds wicked. The drop is like fucking sick. I wouldn't change a single thing about the drop. I'm gonna hint the lead. Yeah, hint the lead. Maybe bring in like a shake or something that's bright. Because if you look at the spectrum leading up to the drop, like. It's just, you could really see the difference when I jump, right? Like, look above me, look at this thing, and then watch. Now, obviously, one is the drop and one is not the drop, but I just think they are a little bit too far from each other in terms of the sonic fingerprint, I guess, if you will. But it's dope as always, man. You killed it. I would just go and try to amp up the section. To me, it sounds like you spent so much time on the drops, and then you're like, "Fuck." Okay, okay, chords. I didn't. When I heard the drop, I was like, make it stronger. Like, let me listen to the drop specifically with that in mind. I mean, would it hurt if the sub was a little bit louder? No, but it didn't stick out to me when I first heard it. It's the kind of track that's like, it's like a really good poppy kind of electronic track, right? It to me, it doesn't need to be overwhelmingly bassy. But hey, if turning the sub up a couple dB is gonna make you feel better, then I don't think it's gonna hurt. But I also don't think it needs it. The drop just sounds like I wouldn't change anything in the drop, but that's just me. So take it with a grain of salt. Thank you for sending. Fucking sick. All right, we got Pat Maxton. How much you want to bet this guy's name is Max Paxton? Matt Paxton. Cool. Let's listen to the song. It's called Jam.
Jam, it's some jam, rock jam, it's some super jam, rock jam, it's some jam, rock jam, it's some super jam, rock, it's some super jam, rock, it's super jam, rock, it's some super jam, rock, it's super jam, super jam, super jam, super jam, super jam, super rock, it's some super jam.
Okay, I just need to listen to this first.
Count with me. Count with me. Count with me.
This is what I immediately thought of. I love this. This like, man, I was like DJing back in 20 whatever this came out in 2014. What would that be? 2010? Now do the Rolex sweep. Anyway, that was a nostalgic thing. Thank you for bringing me back to that one random song from fucking 14 years ago. Okay, let's listen.
Jam, super jam.
Okay, that main that main sound is like too loud, I think. Also, are we gonna have the first? Are we gonna have the first? What is this one? Are we gonna have the first bitrate shaming of the day? No. What is going on with the frequency spectrum? I think the thing that I'm not liking the most about the wham 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 sound is that it's very dull and lacking in the top end, but it looks like the whole track is just cut off steeply at 15. This is another Westbrook situation. I think my other biggest issue with this track is that it feels very this section here, the drop section, doesn't really sound like it has a whole lot to do with
Jam.
You know what I mean? It kind of sounds like you have like surgically attached this intro to the rest of the track. And ways of avoiding that are grabbing elements that you're using in the intro and slapping them in the drop certain places. You know, at the end of a bar, drop everything out, have like the brim, and then back to the drop. And that's like you're referencing the intro. You're connecting the song to itself. It just feels a little too isolated. Like you've got this intro, you've got this build up, then you've got this drop, but they don't seem to really be aware of each other, if that makes sense. At least they're in the same key, so there's that, but it doesn't really go much beyond that. Your sub feels a little disconnected, and you can kind of see that over here. See how you have this like big lump and then there's like this dip? It's because you're using like a pure sine wave. Maybe distort it a little bit. Maybe start with a square wave and filter it down so you can get some harmonics bleeding up into the rest of the frequency range. That could help glue the sub together with the rest of the track. Okay, let's keep going. Like, I like both sections. They just don't sound like they are the same song to me.
Jam, super jam, super jam, super jam.
Even having the vocal thing somewhere. You know, like at the end of every other measure, super jam, bow, and then maybe at some point use the synths from the intro. That, I think that's going to go a long ways. If you can basically just take all the stuff in your breakdown sections and somehow tie them together with the drop a little bit tighter so that it feels like a cohesive song and not just like, here's a build up, here's a drop. You like that drop? Cool. Here's a build up again. Doesn't have much to do with the drop. Bang, here's another drop. It just feels a little too like sticking Lego pieces together. So that is what I would suggest. Try to integrate the elements into the sections a little bit better. Borrow stuff from the intro, put it in the drop. Borrow stuff from the drop, put it in the breakdown, you know? Use the vocal more than just in the build-up. Use the vocal halfway through the drop, etc., etc. Just make the track feel a bit more cohesive. And that's all I got. Okay, cool. We're down to our last one. It is Netfelix. I bought Disperser. Is that like a synth or something? I am unaware, but let's have a listen.
Hi, I'm Netfelix.
So everything in this track sounds good. I think you have the mix, the production, everything sounds good to me. I think it needs more of a melodic focus. So let's figure out what the tempo is. It is 94. No, I looked at it wrong. It is 77. No, 75. Yeah, 150. Okay, that makes sense. So, like, I don't know. Let me just fucking spitball here for a second. So it's in D.
Hi, I'm Netfelix.
You kind of have something in there. I think it's that.
Hi, I'm Netfelix.
anyway, like you kind of have this is just to be fucking around, but you kind of have that in there. I don't know what exactly is playing it, but you have a hook in there. I just don't think you're leaning on it enough, you know? You know, maybe that's the full melody. I've got this freaking crazy latency going on. That to me sounds like the hook that's kind of already in there. It's just not being treated as if it were the hook, you know? Dude. So if I do this, oopsies, because you guys can't see that, can you? Ignore the absolute garbage sound that I've chosen. I don't know. I'm fucking around here, but you get the idea. I think you don't have to spend any more time on like the production or the mix and master right now. What I would try to do is focus on something melodically, and it doesn't have to be in a synth. It could just be bringing that sound out a bit more.
Than Felix.
See, like you only do it once. You go do 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 do.
Felix.
No, I'm not necessarily layer, maybe layer, but not necessarily. I think the main problem is you have this cool melody hook, ba-da-da-da, but it only happens there. And then it just kind of keeps playing down, 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 you know? Then it goes back to do, do, do. That's fine, but like you only play the do, 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 do once. Repeat that. Repeat it so that it gets stuck in our heads. Play it on a different synth. Drop everything out. Hit us with it. Build, 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 build. Drop everything out. Ba-da-da-da. And then come back in with the whole track. Treat it like it's a fucking hook so that you can like get it stuck in our head. Incorporate it in the intro. You know, play it in the intro on a reverbed out. Just give us something. Just do it. Yeah, I think that's the key, man. Like you've got some good melodic stuff, but a large percentage of this track is just single note, single note, single note, single note, single note. Good, like good production, good sound design, everything sounds good, but we're like rocking out to a single note, you know? And that makes sense. Maybe if it's trailing, you know, if it's like this, if it goes, you know, do 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 do, and then do 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 do, and we can look forward to hearing this. So yes, we're rocking the same note here, but as the audience, we're kind of looking forward to hearing this reference back to this track. This becomes part of the identity of the track. So look up in chat. What? Need a contest, the prize will be an 8-bit collaboration with Fowler. Is that what you're talking about? Sure, why not? I haven't made an 8-bit track in a long time. Anyway, this is what I'm talking about. The track sounds great. As a producer, sounds great. Don't need to worry too much about the way it sounds sonically, technically, but now give us something to look forward to. Give us something to get stuck in our head, which is the do-do-do-do, in my opinion. And then repeat it. Repeat. Reference, drop shit out, play it with a different sound, play it in a different octave. I drew a car on the screen. That's cool. Those are my thoughts. I think it's a cool start, man. I think you just need to bring the songwriter's element a little bit more into it as opposed to the producer role. So that is what I got for you guys this week. You know what? Fuck it. Let's spend 5 minutes. We'll go through the new track that I just released today on Hexagon called Work This Out, which is called Work It Out on my computer. Confusing enough. Yeah, so this track is old. I recently finished it up and sent it to Hexagon, and they loved it, and they put it out, and that's sick because I love Don Diablo, and he apparently loves my stuff too, which is nice. It's nice when you have a loving relationship. So this is the track. It's fairly simple. I believe this is like, yeah, I think this is like the extended mix, or maybe this is the extended mix. At me, not the project file. So here's the project file. I think this is the extended mix over here. Yeah. Okay, so this is the track. I'll play it through and then we'll kind of dig it apart for a few minutes and then I gotta go. To me, am I listening to the right version? Something seems off. See. Okay, so this is a pretty simple, straightforward kind of melodic. I don't even know what genre it is. I'm not going to play the whole thing through because you guys can go listen to it, but I would like to discuss maybe a couple elements and give you an idea of what I was thinking when I was doing it. A lot of it centers around kind of like this running bass line. So if we solo some of this stuff... I love this synth. It's dope. It's simple, it's easy to use, and it's got a lot of character. I think it's a Native Instruments synth, if I remember correctly. Yeah, it is. It reminds me, I don't know if it's like supposed to remind me, and I know that my Discord is just awkwardly sitting above me, but that's fine. This reminds me of my Micro Brute, the Arturia or Micro Brute. I don't know if that's what it's supposed to like emulate or whatever, but it reminds me a lot of that. And then we have, let's take a listen to some of this stuff. Okay. So I think this synth... Oh. I think the biggest thing about this synth is like this high pass that's moving around with both velocity, but also with this like automation thing that kind of gives it like this rolling vibe. I don't know how else to describe it besides that. And it's layered with... just a very simple kind of sub, but you can hear like a lot of times where I say, oh, you should distort that, or you should start with a waveform that has a bunch of harmonics and filter it back. You can hear that there's more to it than just a pure sine wave. What's the LFO look like on the filter cutoff for that serum preset? I don't think I am using an LFO, am I? No, I'm just doing everything manually and with the velocity. So I do this a lot where I'll take the velocity and it's controlling 4 different things, right? And then what I do is in the piano roll here, we can create a different sounding pattern just by see what I mean? So like now we're able to create a melody out of the notes, but we can also kind of create a melody out of the velocity because it's changing the character of the bass so much. And then that's also adding up with these automations. So I've totally fucked that up, but that's fine. I guess I could probably undo about 1 trillion times. Let's try that. Undo. Cool. Okay. So we're back to where we were. So what else we got? So we got this sound. Yeah. I like this one. This one's, I used the Tal Juno synth. So if we go over here, and there's actually 2 of them for reasons that I don't remember. And this is kind of sneaking in like a bit of a melody underneath the other tracks. It kind of sounds like it shouldn't work. Like it almost sounds like it shouldn't work because there's like multiple things, but it almost gives it even more of a rolling vibe because we've got these like melodies that don't exactly line up the same time every time, and then you've got like the automation that's kind of it almost gives the pattern it feels like it's not repeating in a way, and that's kind of what I was going for, is like more of like getting into a trance, especially in the second drop here, right here if we listen to this. I honestly don't remember what that boop boop sound is. Let's find it. It's probably this, maybe. Hey, what a surprise. It's a time stretched percussion sound. Let's see what it sounds like if it's not time stretched or oh. This is what it sounds like. It still kind of has that reverb in it. But we have this instead. So this was just kind of like a cool accent to give that second drop a little bit of identity. What's this crispy boy doing? I don't remember half this shit. Okay. So I guess that's supposed to be part of this sound too. Oh. That's cool. See, like they're 2 very different sounds. This one actually comes from so that's just something I made a while ago, and I do this a lot. This one's called Crispy Boy, and then I just like grab random little fucking bits of it and create phrases. You know, it's got that in there, almost like a drum. What's this thing? Oh, see, that's kind of cool just on its own. It's I don't know. I get a little carried away when it comes to making shit like this, but let's let's see if I don't know if this is this is my voice, but
You and me are gonna work this out.
I'm just wondering if there was like an original in here before it got all mangled, like frequency wise.
You and me are going to work this out.
I think this is the original.
You and me are going to work this out.
There you go. That's what it sounded like.
You and me are going to work this out.
And I didn't even play it to like a tempo or anything. So anyway, that's a quick look into the track that I released today on Hexagon. The stems, as always, are in my Discord server. If you want to play with them, dig them apart, see what's up. If you go here, Fowler stems, they're right here, and they look like this. And there you go. That's all the stems for the track. Have fun and maybe learn a thing or two. Okay, so that's it. That's all I got for you this week. Thanks for hanging out. Always fun. I love you. Have a good weekend. Wish us luck. We're doing a big double race Saturday and Sunday in St. John. If you live in St. John, come out and watch, and we can throw you in the Talon. If not, I will see you next week. Okay, I love you. Bye. Bye.